Rugby League is back.
Drum roll, please.
You're a true Warriors fan.
I have no recollection of that hot take.
We don't all have to agree.
It's good to be back.
It's just a really boring team.
Oh, partner.
Start winning some games.
I think there'll be a lot of changes to the team.
I've got them making the 8 for mine.
Let's go. Hello, folks, and welcome back to Advantage Line, TAB's Rugby League betting podcast. My name is Cal Tiley, joined in studio, back in studio with my good mate, Paul Mawate. Paul, how was your week, mate?
Bloody good. Another Wars win. Wonderful Wars win. And what made it even better, I got to watch it sitting right next to one Nick Tedeschi, who had backed the Titans in every single way possible. It was just such a wonderful, wonderful night.
If I'm not mistaken, the word morals was thrown around.
Morals, indeed. Yeah.
We will welcome in Teddy, fresh back from his trip to New Zealand. How are you, Ted?
The term fresh is being used loosely. The complete opposite of that. And the cherry on top was but 2 late tries. The Warriors allowed the Titans to send the game to over 48 and a half. So, cheers. It was a real... if the weekend wasn't expensive enough flying my family over to New Zealand, losing on that one really finished it off.
We will talk about one of those tries shortly because I've got a real bee in my bonnet about that, you could say.
Okay.
The other man we have today is former Warrior, the great man, Blake Ashford. How are you, Ash?
I'm good, mate. I am very good at the moment. Obviously, coming off a Wars win, seeing Leichhardt at its best. Yeah. Obviously, not a Tigers win, but, you know, it was a great week of footy. So I'm excited to what this podcast is about to produce.
Yeah, well, it's a true who could say every week, isn't it?
Well, at least we can say that the podcast survived without a sacking longer than some NRL clubs. It took a while, but we finally saw a couple of coach sackings and no sackings on the advantage line. So odds against us one. Smart money was on 0 to 4 weeks for Tedeschi. So
there's still time.
That was the odds on.
Right, we're going to start the show this week. We talked about top 8 last week. Want to do it again this week. Basically, as it stands at the moment, fellas, are you seeing any changes? Are you changing the top 4? Are you changing the top 8 with 2 weeks to go? Blake, you're on screen. I'll start with you.
Wow. Oh, wow. Come to you first. The only one change. Look, I still believe the Warriors win this week. So it puts all the pressure on the Sharks and the Broncos, obviously, going into the last round. But looking at it, I mean, I think Manly will play their best team against the Warriors. I think the Storm might rest against the Broncos. I think the Sharks may win their last one too. The Dogs, or I think they play Dogs, they may rest. It could change the top 4. Look, I'm going to stick with the Warriors just because I believe they'll win. But depending on teams resting now, it could change. And even that result on the weekend, the Roosters result with Sam Walker now out, throws a massive spanner in the works. Because I had them playing some great footy, winning that game and probably, you know, cementing that top 8 spot. But now it looks more than likely the Dolphins can hold on to 8th spot. They're my changes, but I think depending on results this week, we can come back here next week and everything could be flipped on its head.
It's all depending on results. That's why we're putting you on the hot seat. Teddy, I'm sure you've got an opinion on this matter.
It's probably not a strong opinion. It's because it all comes down to the disgrace that is, you know, quote unquote resting. Yeah, I thought we had top 30 squads, so he couldn't be picking players from out of it. Instead, he's named the St Mary's second 11, Penrith coach named St Mary's second 11. In a game that will luckily not have a huge bearing on the top 8, but yeah, if that was against a 9th place team, that's an absolute disgrace. Like, you should not be allowed to be able to pull something like that. Like, if you're going to rest players, do what Craig Bellamy's done. Rest 3 or 4 this week, rest 3 or 4 next week. Yeah, use players from your top squad. That's my very strong view on that. I give the Dolphins a massive chance of finishing 8th. I think Souths are a huge runner of beating the Roosters in the last round. There is nothing that the only reason that Koloamatangi's coming back and the Trell's coming back, all that stuff, is to knock off the Roosters and keep them out of the finals. That is the sole purpose of that. So they'll be well and truly up for that one. So the Dolphins have the Rays at home. So I think the Raiders are at Redcliffe at KO Stadium, and they've got a very good record. Sunday Arvo, knowing exactly what they need to do. So I think they're a chance there. I think the other way around the Sharks, I think the Dogs are more likely to rest players going into that last round for two reasons. I think that the Dogs, some players desperately need a rest, but I also think that they would rather go to Canberra and play Canberra than go to Melbourne and play Melbourne. So I think the Dogs being able to fall to fourth, they would not be upset by that. So I'd be keeping a close eye on how that one plays out. That may have been hampered a little bit this week by the Dogs going from marginal outsiders to 20.5-point favourites thanks to a 5 and clearing.
21.
Yep.
It's only going to get bigger too. So I think the Wars probably have enough this week to probably lock their top 4 spot in. I don't have a strong view on that game. That is obviously going to have a huge year, and what happens there is going to have a big impact on what the Sharks do in the last week too. Because the Warriors have Manly last week. I think they could easily get rolled. Sharks, what do they do? Well, if you're in the bottom part of that 8, all you are trying to do is avoid Penrith.
Yeah, Sharks will need to play. If Warriors lose, Sharks are playing.
If Warriors lose, Sharks are definitely playing. But even if Warriors win, Sharks might still be playing to get to 5th, so they don't have to play the Panthers.
So what is the best position then? Because in terms of that, around that 3, 4, 5, 6, fourth is the better position?
I'd rather go to Canberra than Melbourne.
Nobody wants to go to Melbourne. Nobody wants to go to Melbourne.
And you need a second chance. So
yeah,
obviously, and then obviously 5th is much more helpful than 6th.
Yeah,
you do not want to be coming 6th.
So the Bulldogs would have to lose both of their remaining games.
Correct.
And the Wars would have to win both of their remaining games for the Wars to jump over the top of the Bulldogs. Or
No. Dogs can only lose once.
But the
Wars would have to win twice.
Oh, the difference. They have to win big.
The points differential is just
well, you have got Parramatta this week, so.
Yeah. See, I disagree there. I think it's just the stigma around Melbourne. Like, we've seen teams go down there in the past in the semis and beat them.
Michael Witt.
And looking at Canberra, there's still no respect. I did not want to go to Canberra in the freezing cold and get bashed up by that pack with basically a full strength team, instead of going to Melbourne with a team that hasn't been together in the last 2 months of footy.
Do you think that the Warriors, and you'd hope not, given it's a professional system and they're professional players, but there's just in the back of their mind, there's the sort of the Melbourne history, hoodoo kind of, or does it not matter? Just sort of.
Look, personally, you go there every time. You know what's happened, but you go there every time you're facing a different team. You've got a different team yourself. There's a whole new outlook every time you play them. I know there's that record there, and it always comes up and creeps up, but I don't know. I'd be liking to attack Melbourne. Even the Bulldogs the other night. Look, they both scored the same amount of tries.
Yeah.
The Bulldogs.
I suppose to be fair to the Warriors, they've just they haven't won in Melbourne, but they've played a lot better in Melbourne in the last couple of years. So they've had chances, but I don't know. There's just don't know.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Do you think that it's probably a no, but do you think the Panthers are just gone, look, it doesn't really matter. We don't have a home ground at the moment, but then also, no team's won it outside the top 4. We're sick of winning. Let's make some history along with it. Let's just finish outside. We've got no home ground. CommBank's not our home. Let's just, wherever we finish, we'll deal with it and then make some history.
I think part of that was, yes, but part of it was thrown upon them as well with their losses the last 2 weeks. They were 100% looking for that top 4 spot. And then it all went awry in the second half of both the Storm and Raiders games. So now they've got not much choice. But I don't think they care where they finish between 5th and 8th. No. Like they don't care about finishing 5th or 6th with a home ground. Like, if they've got to go to Brisbane or they've got to go to Shark Park, I don't think they give a damn.
For many years, the old McIntyre system, bring it back.
It's an absolute disgrace, the McIntyre system.
But 8th had never beaten first, and then the Warriors did it the next year. The year later, Para did it. Like, it's
should never have had the opportunity to do it.
100%.
whatever.
That was embarrassing. And not knowing
2011.
not knowing what was going on in the game. Like, are we eliminated? Are we still there? Oh, the McIntyre system was a disgrace.
Warrior fans,
Pain on this sport.
going on.
Well, we've opened a can of worms here. Loving it.
Next week's top 10 McIntyre finishes.
Well, I'll tell you the number one. It's the Wars beating the Storm.
Sure is.
Just put the ball down, Michael. Just put it down.
Just adding to the drama.
Question to you, Paul. Of the race for the top 4, the race for the 8,
Yep,
or the race for the spoon, what most excites you?
the race for the 4. The race for the 4, because it is just so compact there, from the Bulldogs on 36 points in 3rd place to the Sharks in 6th place on 32 points. The Panthers have thrown a wee bit of a spanner in the works there, because they've basically put their hands up at this weekend against the Dogs. Look, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, there's so many things. There's so many different permutations there. And look, I think the Wars hold on. I think they do. I think they hold on for the 4th.
I did a lot of ladder predictors, and I've got the Warriors winning this week. Next week, like, Manly could roll over and lose by 50. It is Cherry's last game. They could win by 52. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in that game.
Yeah,
but I think winning this week's enough, and I don't think. I didn't write it down, but the Broncos, I don't think they'll win both games.
No.
And the Sharks, I think, drop one as well.
For me, the Roosters losing last week has made the top 8 finish extremely compelling. Like, that to me is way more exciting than what's going on in the top 4, because, there's a big difference between being in and out, and all of a sudden you've got 3 teams vying it out for one spot, and all a chance, all with their positives, all with their negatives at the moment. And to be honest, we haven't seen a lot of these great finishes for the top 8 for the last few years. Like, there's been a lot of pretty clear cut. These 8 teams are going to the finals weeks out, so I'm pretty excited to have this going on for a couple of weeks, and would just love a Roosters loss this week to really make it exciting.
Wouldn't it have been great if the Tigers had held on last week and they were still in the running to make that?
Mathematically still are, Paul.
Yeah, put your abacus away, forget about it. They're not making the 8.
Nothing says you're no chance of the 8, as being told you're a mathematical chance.
I'm looking forward to the spoon. I've got the Knights dropping their last 2. And I think it's going to come down to the Titans versus the Tigers in the last round. Titans could win that and give Knights the spoon.
I've got a question for you all. If you're Des and you're Adam O'Brien, and the only possible outcome for this year is one of you two are getting the wooden spoon, and you've both been sacked already, why are you still coaching? Surely you walk away and give that wooden spoon to an interim coach. Surely you create a little bit of distance between yourself and the wooden spoon.
That's a fair point.
Go on their record, I guess. I don't know if they've won a spoon before.
Something to play for.
I'm not sure O'Brien has. Des definitely hasn't. So Adam O'Brien's flirted with it enough, but he got enough good streaks out of Callum Ponga to make more finals than he deserved.
We'll get Knights $2.40 for the FYI.
That is one of the only reasons I take an interest in the wooden spoon race, is if I've backed a team prior to the start of the season, and they are in the running to pick it up. I think I backed Parramatta Eels a few years ago, Teddy, when they were the rank outsider to be the wooden spoon. I think they're paying around $30 at the season. I'll ride that one every single year, to be fair.
All right, good segue. Great segue into betting segment of the show. I have got, fellas, a couple of big winners. I know you love this.
Hell,
from last week.
Why aren't one of those mine?
Forgot to hit place.
Based on your ability to do maths, I'm guessing you probably put it in wrong.
So these are both from the Panthers-Raiders game. Incredible finish to that game. Incredible game in general. This first punter, $5 on a 4-leg same-game multi. Casey McLean, 2 or more tries. Simi Sasagi, Kyo Weeks, and Ethan Strange.
That's got to be every try in the game, doesn't it?
$5 into 10,800.
He deserved more, I'll be honest. He deserved twice that.
He had to wait for overtime, though.
Yep. And so did this one. $50. Casey McLean, Liam Martin, Ethan Strange, and Kyle Weeks. $50 into 13,500. So, well done.
Well played, punters. Well played.
Anyone else got anything to share, or should we get to the pod bets?
Let's go.
Let's go to the pod.
I believe Paul's amended the mistakes from last week.
Okay, I'll start with Blake because he's the bright spot, pretty much, to be fair.
Whoa.
Season overall. Yeah. Last week, Blake, best bet, Bulldogs plus 6.5. Boom. Collect. Try scorer, AJ, first, second, or third try scorer. Bang. Collect.
Full pass. Try.
Same game multi. Kohler, Hammer, both to score a try. Either team to win by 1 to 12.
There's only 88 points in it. How did Hammer not score?
And then his anything bet, Roosters, Broncos, and Bunnies all to win. Let down by the Chooks. He was up 107 for the week and up 527.50 for the season so far. Blake is a trailblazer.
Well done.
Sturley, he flicked his bets through as well, didn't he?
Shock.
His best bet, Tigers to win and Skelton to score a try. No good. Tallis Duncan to score a try was his try scorer bet. Nice. It's same game multi. Panthers to win under 40.5 points. McLean to score a try. And then
that is
anything bet. Panthers, Storm, Tigers, Bunnies, Wars, Roosters, Broncos, all to win, and Manly plus 6.5. No good. He was up $25 for the week, down $398.79 for the season. Who's next? Carl. Best bet. Bunnies, tick.
easy.
Coates, 2 or more tries. No. Same game multi. Broncos minus 11.5. Dean Mariner to score a try. Tony Staggs to score a try. Knights to score under 16.5. Collect.
Shout out the Knights.
And is anything bet?
What was that paying?
One moment.
Oh.
What? $7.82. Okay. And is anything bet? Bunny, Storm, Dolphins, Chooks, all to win. Oh, not even close.
Not even close.
No. Up 140.50 for the week, down 305.80 for the season.
Coming for you.
Teddy Tedeschi. Best bet. Titans plus 4.5.
Morals.
Try scorer. Hammer.
No.
Oh, jeez. How did he stop him? Same game multi. Broncos to win. Knights under 16.5. Karapani to score a try. Dean Mariner to score a try. Tick, 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 tick.
Nice.
And then anything bet. Dolphins to win and Panthers to win. Well, there we go. Teddy was down $8.50 for the week, up $140 for the season.
Nice, Teddy.
I was down $150 for the week, down $680. Hard done
Details pretty scarce on that one there, Paul.
Very hard done
Good
by.
stuff. Good week.
Broncos' high scoring team. If it wasn't for the Dolphins letting Manly just go nuts, would have got there. So yeah. Anyway,
Two same game multis home in the same game. No, it's
to be fair, it was the perfect game for a same game multi. Everyone scored.
It was. All right, let's go to the good, the bad, and the ugly for this week. Teddy, I'll throw to you for the good.
Well, I imagine this is going to be the good for everybody, but hard to go past the Miracle and Mudgee. Like when you think about rugby league, country week, game in Mudgee, probably the most picturesque ground in the country in terms of like quaint country venues. Two teams flying. Controversy. The only probably downside was what a shocker Dylan Edwards had. Clearly, almost seeing that field goal. Then length. I don't know. The only thing that kind of is comparable was an extra time game a few years ago where I think it was Tom Burgess he scored a try, and then Luke Brooks ran the length of the field for the Tigers, and they weren't sure what was happening. Someone was going to win. Obviously, this wasn't the same play because the field goal didn't go over it. It's the only game that kind of came to mind of just like one team was about to win, but the other team could have just pinched it. So incredible! Like it was an absolutely remarkable finish. That's what people watch rugby league. So what a game!
There was another. It was years ago now, but I'm pretty sure it was Roosters Bunnies game where for the last 2 minutes they kind of went
field goals.
Length of the field try, length of the field try, length of the field try. Like I can't remember who won, but it was like.
Well, that two of those games in a row. I was at the second one where Reynolds crossed to the end of the football stadium, and they scored 10 points in the last minute.
Yeah,
They've had a break off the kickoff. But back and forth.
I also had the Raiders Panthers, but I'm going to dive a little bit deeper. One, Cleary, how sweet he hit that field goal. Like he pounded that thing. It almost went over the top of the crossbar, of the upright.
And they would have awarded it.
Yes.
Because it looked like it was going.
Correct. Yep.
But I'll lump in the length of the field tries, the one from that game, that finish, and then the Tigers' length of the field against the Cowboys.
Jareen Buller.
That was something special to watch. Really good.
How do you lose on a celebration day with a flick pass try? We had a replica of 2005. Like unbelievable Tigers.
But they did miss Adam Dewey towards the end of that game. To be fair, he was a big loss.
Oh, and then Latu Fainu got HIA'd with about 15 to go, and they went down his side. That's where they scored the.
Did he break his hand punching the wall on the way through? Because he was not happy.
Right.
Yeah. Well, but that was my actually good the crowd there. The rugby league guys, like it's been raining in Sydney for the last 2 months. They said it's the most rain they've ever had, etc., etc. But somehow on a Sunday afternoon at Leichhardt, the eighth wonder of the world, it produces once again. The sun, the clouds just clear. The sun comes out, and no matter the result, look, the fans are out there, and it might not be the best ground to go and sit there for whether you go into the tuck shop or you're trying to view, but get there on the hill and to just see that with the sun shining on a Sunday arvo. Oh, mate, I'd argue with anyone. There's not too many better places in rugby league than that.
It's not even close. It's not even close. It is not even close. Leichhardt on a Sunday afternoon. Where would you drink beforehand, Blake? The little one at the cherry tree, or
you got the Sackville up the road, mate. They need to bring the Leeds Club back, but there's plenty there.
Yeah, it's and all the sound as you go in is just the sizzling sausages of all the barbecues where people are trying to sell their Italian sausages and all. Oh, it's great venue.
Don't get me wrong.
You'd be like as you walk to the ground there. They've got the Barbies out there, and you can buy a sausage as you walk down to the ground.
People's front yards.
How good,
mate! Awful place to park.
50 people deep on the hill.
If you're driving to Leichhardt, you've got rocks in your head. Yeah. you're Ubering and you're drinking.
Teddy, you're bad.
Bad. Got a couple here. We're going to go with. We'll go with. Because it's a PMing podcast, we won't go the Brandon Smith route. We'll go the Dolphins without Herbie. They've been absolutely abhorrent without Herbie the last few. Like I don't ever recall a centre being as important to a team as Herbie seems to be to the Dolphins. In the last 3 weeks, they were in the 8, they were flying. Give up 64 to the Roosters, 38 to the Broncos, and 58 to Manly. All of a sudden, they can't tackle. Yeah, they're playing very ordinary football. They've still got a chance to make the 8. They're favourite this week, but gee, it's going to take some loyalty to want to be on them.
My bad. The referee inconsistency in the Warriors-Titans game, and in particular, the Beau Fermor try and the Jaden Campbell jumping from the in goal, from in play, catching the ball in goal. The challenge that the Warriors made. Now that the Warriors challenged the Campbell jump from the in goal, from the in play into the in goal, which he clearly did, I thought, and they ruled against it. Then Beau Fermor scores a try 3 of the 4 angles show the bull dead, but they decide to award it. I don't know how you can, if you haven't given Campbell's one, how can you give Fermore's one? And then on top of that, the commentary of Randy is atrocious. He was just had his own agenda, calling things just gross.
I will not hear a bad word about Greg Liddell, the best commentator in the game. Come on.
No, he's not.
Randy
No,
is the
he
best
is
analyst by absolute panels. And
No.
also a Warriors legend. So
Veto.
show some respect for the Warriors,
Veto.
please.
Veto.
There's one for us next week. Top 10 commentators. What are we doing that?
I got Blake Asher from Sport Nation at the top of my list.
There we go. You go, Paul, because my bad and ugly are together.
Oh, okay. My bad was from the Miracle at Mudgee, and it was the decision by, I think it was Liam Martin and someone else, to pull out of the tackle right at the end there, which was directly led to the length of the field try. Either it's an inability to understand the rules of rugby league, or I'm not quite sure what they were up to. But
it's all the chaos around tackling in the air and going for the ball in the last few weeks that caused that. 100%.
I will never understand that for the life of me. There's some grey areas around interpretation and stuff like that. If you're a first grade footballer, you should know the rules. Once the ball's bounced, you can smash the bloke in the air. It's on.
Which kind of seems counterintuitive to player safety, but
This player safety's got anything to do with this. This is just an absolute rort from the bunker.
Oh, you can tackle them, but the whole thing is if it's where they land.
Yeah.
They land in dangerous position, but they could have held him easily. My bad is the Dragons' performance. You're coming off one. Yep, sure, you didn't have players, but you didn't have players the week before in New Zealand when you only had 16 on the field and put up a good fight. You're playing a South team who, had a couple of players back, but I just thought their performance for the whole 80 minutes to go down 40-0 in sort of a derby game as well. This is, the Charity Shield. It does mean a little thing between these clubs, and that leads into my ugly. Now I'm looking at the 1-17. This team, I still see the same halves named. I see the same back rowers. I see the same backs, or majority of them. Obviously, there's a couple that come back in, like DeBellin, etc. But how do you continually lose games? Yep, they're tight. I understand. Oh, you won 2 in a row. Cool. Does that allow you then to stay there for the next month or two? I'm just dumbfounded. And you wonder why there's things that come out where people, big names, don't want to go to the Dragons. And you just wonder, is this the reason why? Because there's no ruthless decisions or players being held accountable for things. So that's my bad into the ugly.
Shout out.
Hypothetical question on the Dragons there for everyone. If you offer the same amount of money, same length of deal, and you got offered a spot at the Titans, the Knights, or the Dragons, who are you signing with?
Titans. Hundy.
Yeah.
I think I'd sign with the Knights, but. Well, I'll tell the Titans because I have a good time, but it'd do nothing for my career. But that's funny as hell. Like 2 coaches have been fired, right? And no one's saying the Dragons. No one's going So I think you're spot on, Mike. They've got the stink that the Dogs had about them for the 5 years previous to the last couple of years. The stink South used to have on them. The stink the Tigers have had on them for a long time. Just like players don't want to go there because it's going to ruin their careers. And I kind of agree with you there. I think there's, I know I'm sure you didn't want to say it, but the name Kyle Flanagan's very front and centre with all this. But you're right. There's just someone like Gutho puts in an effort like that. There's no accountability for it.
But I'm not even just saying, and like personally, I'm not even here to single out like Shane and Kyle. Like it's not even about Kyle Flanagan. Like I thought he's probably played better than King Tongia.
He's played way better than King Tongia. I agree. You're going to drop someone.
Yeah.
King Tongia is the one that should be gone.
Yeah, but and there's other players there as well. So that's just my thing. Like you're naming the same team week in, week out when not too many people are standing up.
What I hate to see in clubs like St George's situation is where they aren't really playing to win. They're playing not to lose. And I kind of mean in the greater sense, every game, you're playing to win, playing not to lose, blah, blah. But in terms of, they're not building anything because they're just wheeling out Ben Murdoch and Masilla to try and pull out a win this week and keep the coach's job. And I don't like that selection policy. I'd rather see, your Hamish Stewarts and those come through and get full games and be given time to develop.
I thought Ben Murdoch was sort of retired.
Oh, I could not believe I could not believe when I saw him on the team list. I follow rugby league pretty closely. Had no idea he was still at the Dragons.
So you guys would go to a team where you don't know who the next head coach is going to be, as opposed to going to a team.
They both went to the Titans, and they know who the next head coach is going to be. Josh Hannah.
But you would go, no, not Flanagan.
Yeah,
I'd go to St George.
I've been coached by
I've got
Flanagan.
history with Flanagan.
Oh, that says it all. Could Shane Flanagan identify Blake Ashford in a lineup of two?
Probably not.
Yeah, you see, Flanagan's loss was New Zealand's game. So,
Absolutely.
Where are we at? Ugly, Teddy.
Times and firing coaches. Obviously, I love that. I'm very excited by that. The fact it's happened so quickly, it's been very overwhelming for me. But I've mentioned earlier, I don't like seeing them both play out the string with a wooden spoon. I think it's silly for both. I think they're both. This was coming a long time ago, and I think both left it way too long. And I think in particular, the Knights, who were very keen on Josh Hannah as well, left it way too long to get rid of the coach. Like, if the coach is not going to be there next year, they complain about, we're going to have to pay out this guy $1 million or whatever. Yeah, $1 million is $1 million. So you don't want to be paying that out. But guess what? You are a club that gets handed by the NRL $13 million every year. This is not a game where clubs are on the verge of going broke like they were 10 or 15 years ago. These are businesses that need to be making the right decision going forward. Gold Coast have never been able to get out of their own way. Have one winning season. Haven't had a winning season since I think 2010. Yeah, the Knights. This is a rugby league heartland. This is an area that loves the game more than any place in the world, and the dross that club has served up for a long, long time is unacceptable. And unfortunately, it's going to continue to be unacceptable until they bring in a coach with the right mentality and the right attitude, and more importantly, an administration knows what they're doing. So if they don't hire Willie Peters, they are off their rocker, the Knights. Willie Peters should be the first and last choice for the Knights. They need a guy with a hard edge to him who's not going to take any rubbish, and he's the guy for it, because some of the absolute rot that they've dished up this year. There was a board member came out on the weekend saying, we just don't have the depth. Well, it is part of the coach's responsibility to develop talent so you do have depth and to recruit players. But, the fact is, when you're full strength, the Knights are serving up absolute rot as well. So that's got nothing to do with anything. So Titans and the Knights, starting again. Also wasn't a huge fan of, I'm not saying it's wrong, but he's had two cracks as interim coach, Josh Hannah. I'm not really sure that the hype's going to match the results there. I'm not saying it's wrong. Just a thought, but I would be, if I had to back or lay Hannah as succeeding at the Titans, I'd be laying.
Interesting. Can he get over 100 games? No, only one coach of the Titans has had over 100 games.
No.
Wow.
He'll be sacked for him.
Okay. Hot take.
Clip that.
Yeah.
It might not be his fault. Justin Holbrook was a great coach, and he got sacked before that.
Yeah. My ugly, the defense in the Tigers-Cowboys game.
That's your ugly. What about the defense in the Manly Dolphins game?
Well, I was talking to you all the time. I didn't watch the game. I just turned around and saw the score every 20 minutes.
I know. I keep going up at a rate of knots.
Yeah. More so like the Tigers kind of season on the line, top 8 on the line type stuff. They were up. They had that game won. I text you boys. Like they scored the try. They were up by whatever they were, 12 points or whatever it was. I had to go take the kids to bed. I come back and what the hell happened? They'd lost the game. It was, and then going back and watching some of the highlights. One of the tries, I can't remember who it was. One of the tries the Cowboys scored, I think it was Purdue, just like walked past Api Coruscant and someone else. They didn't even try and tackle him.
Brent Naden might be the worst defensive centre that's ever played rugby league. There is some, like, I think got beaten twice in those 3 tries.
He scored a good try himself, though. That was pretty cool for kickoff.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm not trying to throw any barbs at you here, Blake, but I was shocked to learn that the last time the Tigers made the finals was 2011.
Yeah.
That's wild. And
BH was playing that game?
He was. The way he went out to the Warriors, wow, too good. But that's a long time ago between drinks.
What's that, 14 years?
Yeah.
14,
that's wild.
Years. Yeah, so, but like even every time they've had something to play for in the last couple of years, they've seen, and there hasn't been too many. We talk about the Spoon Bowl last year, to avoid the wooden spoon, they got beat by 50, 60.
Yeah.
So it hasn't boded well for them.
Oh, I do. Someone made a point earlier. I certainly don't want to make excuses for the Tigers. It was a bad collapse, but losing Adam Dewey. Adam Dewey has been close to the best player in the comp over the last month. He has been absolutely airborne. And this was only weeks after I made fun of him for being called to the New South Wales squad. So maybe there was something to it.
All right, Paul, bring us home. You're ugly.
Just the injuries as we head into just the injuries, and in particular the one to Xavier Savage. Although to be fair to the Raiders, they have had a fairly easy go in terms of injuries this season. But that's horrible to see key players get knocked out just prior to finals for teams that are going to make it. And you can probably add Adam Dewey to that list as well, because the Tigers were going to be a chance if he was still playing the final 2 weeks of the comp. So I just hope we don't see any more significant injuries to any of the teams heading into the finals.
All right, let's go to top 10s for this week, fellas. And this week, I was wanted to keep it player related. There was a few hot takes in the social media comments of players we missed last week and the best.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be a lot this week because we could do a top 300 and miss 300 here.
Oh, easy. And I imagine there's, we've probably all gone about this different ways too. So this week's top 10s, the top 10 most underrated players in the NRL era. So wide open, very clickbaity of me, but hey, that's what we're here for.
So you are.
So,
Mr. Clickbait.
That's who I am.
Yeah. You're very good at it.
Care to elaborate on that? Or?
Yeah, no, you're very good at that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a compliment.
I feel personally attacked here.
I think that you're one of the most underrated clickbaiters in the NRL. So, yeah.
All right, I will kick off then. I'm going to be careful because I feel like I've got a veto from Teddy in here somewhere. I am going to start with Manu Vatuvei, the beast.
Underrated.
Underrated.
Underrated?
What?
I think he was underrated. I don't think if you say Manu Vatuvei, the first thing majority of people and Warriors fans will think of was he dropped the ball, slow to turn around.
I think he's one of the rare players to score 10 tries in 10 straight seasons. I don't think he's underrated. I wanted to slam the decision by the fact that you're going to pick a terrible player. But he's actually a very good player. I think he was properly rated.
Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I'm wrong, and I'm happy to cop that. I'm happy to hear that the beast is properly rated amongst this group.
Love the beast.
I was ready to go to bat for him, but maybe not required.
I just don't want to waste a veto on a technicality.
Okay. I'll pull it myself. I'll pull it if we think the beast is appropriately rated. I'll pull him and I'll save it. I do want to say 16th on the all-time try scorers list, like you said, Teddy. First player to score 10 plus tries in 10 consecutive years in the NRL. There's only 3 active players ahead of him on the all-time try scorer list at the moment.
You know, we talk about the Ken Irvine record. Is Manu Vatuvai's 10 and 10 another sort of record that like would be extremely hard to break?
I think someone else got it pretty soon after him. I could be wrong. I could have made that up.
Not like AJ.
No, I don't know. But he was the first to do it.
Okay.
I'll pull Manu. Happy to hear he's good. Teddy.
Let's start off with a guy I think would have played with Blake. He spent a few years out here, but I think he was absolutely one of the best forwards that in the NRL era. And you hear people talk up Sam Burgess and all the time. Gareth Ellis was the Tigers played the best football with Gareth Ellis. I'm looking forward to a couple of Blake stories about Gareth Ellis because he's reportedly a cracking bloke as well. But was just a fantastic player out here, and I don't think the Tigers have ever been more reliable than when he did. He added some steel and some toughness to go with the flair that was going on at the club at the time. So Gareth Ellis for mine's my number one.
Yeah, he was one of mine too, Teddy. So the list isn't too big, but you just took one of mine. But he's absolute, not only
My list is about 30 and growing,
mate. He is an absolute weapon, like a beast. And I reckon if he was out here for 10 years, you know, he would have been one of the ones people spoke about. It leads me sort of into my one. And look, this is along the lines of a Manu one, and it's a bit controversial, but I've got Simon Mannering. And the reason I've got Simon Mannering is, in New Zealand, we talk about him as one of the best. I talk about him as one of the best players to ever play in a Warriors jersey. But Teddy, in Australia, is he someone they talk about often?
I wouldn't say I talk about him often. He's certainly not rated in the kind of elite echelon of second row.
Exactly. When people ask me who are the 2 best players, you know, or the toughest players you've played with, the person you just mentioned's there, and Simon Mannering's on equal pegging with him. And
wow, that's a fair.
I know this is a New Zealand-based podcast, and in New Zealand we rate Simon very high. But I can guarantee in Australia that I don't think when you talk about 300 games, he's one of the people that you might not have believed had played 300 games, and someone you might forget. For people here, I think he is one of the best to play it, and should be rated and talked about a lot more than he actually is, with one of the best players to play the game.
Yeah, I thought about Mannering as well. And you make fair points. I'm not going to argue, but he just played a lot of rep football, which kind of probably ruled him out a little bit for me. But then that's probably a bit hypocritical saying I put Ellis in there.
But then you got Ellis, who played for
in a long time. So
Nice. What do you got, Paul?
When I thought of this list, I thought of someone who did a lot of dirty work, who made a whole heap of tackles, and picked up 80, 90, 100 meters, NFL season kicking off soon, 100 meters a game. So I was thinking of the likes of a Blake Ashford, but I thought, no, I'll leave him out of this one because he wasn't underrated.
You have to be rated, Paul.
So I went with Aaron Clark, even though this season his profile has lifted significantly. I think prior to this, no, they don't mention at the goal.
Oh, we've got our first veto.
Yes, come on.
I love Aaron Clark. He's been one of the players of the year. He's got 8 years of NRL under his belt. I'm pretty sure he's properly rated.
I don't know. I don't think the Gold Coast wouldn't have let him go if he's properly rated.
Trust me, the Gold Coast let a lot of people go who've become better. They let Jerome Hughes go after a game.
All right, come back to me. I've got a halfback from the sort of early mid 2000s. Played for the Storm, played for Manly. He was the Storm's Player of the Year in 2004. Took Manly to back-to-back grand finals, 2007, 2008. Matt Orford.
Oh.
Dally medalist.
Regret using my veto.
Really?
You've forgotten his Canberra stint?
Huh?
You forget his Canberra stint?
Wait, didn't he play one season at Canberra?
Played 5 games at Canberra, the 5 worst games of all time.
You are the only person in the NRL era to remember that, honestly. This guy's scored 1,500 points. He's 22nd all time in the point scoring list. I think even for that little period, he was an elite halfback, one of the best going around. Blake?
No. Yep. Oh, do you want me to go again? I can go again. I've got Roosters player who we talk about cleaning up dirty work and getting through a lot of things in 300 games. Mr. Fix-It himself, Mitch Orbison, and he's someone who doesn't get enough love, I think.
Premiership winning halfback, Mitch Orbison.
I mean, like the positions he filled in and the times he was needed. And there's a lot of players you talk about. Who do you want to play alongside, or someone who you want in your team? And for me, he would be one that you could pencil in your team every single week.
Teddy?
I want to go with one of my favourite players. This one. Talk about Mr. Fix-It, does all the dirty work. Highly underrated, Tony Grimaldi. He just tackled his way into a couple hundred first grade games. Played in 2 or 3 grand finals. He was everywhere for the Dogs. So Tony Grimaldi for one.
Paul?
I'm going to go Jazz Tavanga, who is very much in that mould again. I think, even though he did win Dally M for 14th man, I think, a few years ago, at around $20 or $30. But outside of that, so he was underrated. He was underrated by the bookies as well, to be fair. So Jazz Tavanga for mine.
I've got a question to the group. Do we think Adam Reynolds has been appropriately rated his career?
Overrated.
Overrated? Ooh. Wow. Well, I'm putting Adam Reynolds on this list.
Yes.
Wow.
I think he has been...
I'm not sure how he's been underrated. Like he's been behind 2 great forward packs and kind of really delivered in the clutch.
Yeah, no, I think he's been rated fairly in the sense where he's had his chances at Origin.
Yeah.
He's played Origin, He's been picked. Yeah, but he's been picked. He's been in the conversation. He's been there. I mean, I don't know. I think he's rated.
He's got one of the best, if not the best, short kicking game ever.
Yeah, he's a great player. I'm not knocking him at all, but I think
second all-time point scorer. Like,
I think people are still wanting to fork out for him. I think South might have got that one right.
You think? I think South's got it wrong. I think they'd be in a much better position if they kept him.
Well, why? His body's barely holding up.
I think you find he's played more games than Cody Walker this year.
Well, that's a separate conversation.
Is it?
I'm not saying the decision to sign Cody Walker was a good one either, but yeah.
I think Adam Reynolds has been underrated. I think he would have started in any other international team for his whole career, just about.
When?
I think.
Okay, so he would have started over Andrew Johns during his heyday?
No,
would have started over Peter Sterling?
Any other international, not Australian team.
That doesn't count. He wouldn't have started over Sean Johnson at any point in his career. SJ was a way better player. For mine.
Yeah, he probably would have been in the halves with SJ. Look, this is my list, and Adam Reynolds is going on it. Use your vetoes and shut up. I'll throw to you, Teddy.
All right, I'm going to go with a guy who played 1 season in the NRL, but it was one of the great hit and run seasons of all time. Brian Carney came out here, scored 16 tries in 26 games, was, I think, won Dally M Winner of the Year, and went straight home. Brian Carney.
Is that underrated if he won Dally M Winger of the Year?
Well, do any of you remember him? Don't worry, I've got plenty more on the list if you want to read it.
This is something you can use for the start of the clip. To define this, you have to be rated, right? You have to be rated. So you do have to actually have played like that and be rated as a good enough player to be, forgotten about sometimes and undervalued.
He did play 22 tests, so I'm pretty sure he was rated, Brian Carney.
If he played 22 tests, he's probably appropriately rated.
Well, I'm going to say this is the same as the Simon Mannering situation, that he might be rated in England, but maybe not in Australia where he should be.
Okay. Anyone using their veto?
Yep.
No? Play on?
Yep.
Blake?
This is getting very loose, very loose.
It's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it is. Oh, look,
I'm not saying this is too loose. There's no parameters. There's no rules. Everyone is like Carl's just naming great players and underrating them. I'm naming complete randos. Paul's just naming Warriors locks.
Warrior locks.
I've gone to the early 2000s, even before 2000, the 90s and 2000. Luke Ricketson, 300 games. Now, when I was growing up, the Roosters were the team. There was the Lions speed. Ricky Stewart coached them. 2000 grand final, Graham Murray. 2 years later, they were in there for three years in a row. Won one of those. But for me, I don't think they're the same team if Luke Ricketson isn't there. I just think that the toughness he brought to the team, I think was something that they needed. And for me, Luke Ricketson, I think, he got to 300 games, and he was up there with one of the first to do it. But I think he's not rated appropriately enough in those great teams.
Paul?
This player, you think Blake was getting loose. I'm going to really get loose here. This player was not underrated by the majority of NRL fans, but was most definitely underrated by one of the panelists here on the Advantage line. I speak of Nathan Cleary, who was underrated by Tedeschi, and I quote, barely a first grader.
Well, he looks like he's been dropped for this week, Paul, so maybe I was right.
He's coming in the back of 2 losses. You've got to get him out.
Well, gee, I hope he gets back in for the finals.
Can't hit a field goal. It's disgusting. Could have used Adam Reynolds. Are we really putting Nathan Cleary on this list?
No. Someone veto that.
Okay. Thank you, Teddy.
I'll veto that. We've got one more spot. I'll throw a name out there. One of your great mates, Blake. Benny Matalino. He was the first player, I think, to graduate from the under-20s and make his NRL debut. He was consistent. I think he played for like 7 or 8 years in a row. He played 22 or more games. He was a really good player.
Yeah.
Really good player. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure when you say, great Kiwi props or the greatest Kiwi props, is he one that comes to mind?
I think
Teddy's shaking his head, so
No,
I think he's underrated.
No, let's throw a few names out there and then decide on the last one.
Okay.
Chuck him, Teddy.
You obviously got someone you think.
I've gone, so this.
I've got one that won't win the vote because he's not a Warriors player, so I can't possibly win the vote.
I've gone someone who possibly should have. I don't know if he did ever play for New South Wales or Australia. I'm pretty sure he didn't. John Sutton played.
Never played rep footy yet, so City Country.
Played over 300 games and could pass with the best of them, kick, could run over the top of you. And to even go through the dark days with South, come through as a junior and stay as a one-man team. Johnny Sutton, for me, is probably not rated highly enough among a lot of people.
Sorry, Benny Matz, you're out.
I've got 4. I probably won't beat that, but I want to start out quickly. 2 Raiders locks, so I think are severely underrated. Alan Tongue and Sean Fenson, both tackling machines. Especially Alan Tongue was, if he was a Queenslander, would have had 15 Origins under his belt, but never got a look in as a New South Welshman. I think he would have played with Blake. I don't think one of the Sharks played, Chris Hyington. I think was severely underrated. I think he got to a lot of numbers, high impact player, and a great personality on the game, and an old favourite of mine. Never got a look in Origin, but as reliable as they come, the general Luke Patton played nearly 300 games for the Dogs. So I'll throw those out there to all lose to Ben Madalena.
No, I'll put Johnny Sutton on there instead. But you mentioned Heinington. We said Alice before. Another one on that Tigers team Liam Fulton.
Absolutely.
Got through a truckload of work.
Yes, how did I forget him?
Great
Gee,
fantasy player too.
There's a few Tigers in there.
Yeah.
Mate, Fultz, one of the best blokes you will ever meet. We used to have this thing with the media when it was coming around, paycheck time, and he goes, "When I get up, I'll just everything's you." Like, Fultz, you're tackling. He goes, "Yeah, but it's so easy. Blake Ashford's outside me. He just talks. He's such a great centre, probably the best I've played with." And then when it's my turn, I'm like, Liam Fulton, the line he runs is probably the best in the NRL. The operates and you just try and get mate. He was the best at manipulating things. He was one of the best.
So
Cool.
you could thank him for adding another zero onto your next contract.
Mate, plenty. I could for a couple of years too. It wasn't just the one.
Between him and Benji, did you actually earn any of those zeros yourself?
I don't think so. Benji on the field, Fultz just giving me life advice off. Not always good, but worked out all right.
Another underrated player.
All right, there's a list of 10 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's move on to this week's head-to-head. We are eating up the clock.
We're behind time.
We are. Around the room, Teddy, Blake, Paul, myself. Bulldogs, $1.07. Panthers, $8.50.
Dogs.
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 Dogs. Warriors, $1.57. Eels, $2.40.
Warriors.
Warriors.
Lars.
Warriors. Storm, $1.65. Roosters, $2.25.
Storm.
Roosters.
Roosters.
Storm?
Yeah,
For
don't
sure.
love it. I don't feel good about it, Carl. I'm with you on that
No.
one. I don't feel good about it.
No. Raiders, $1.24. Tigers, $4.10.
Raiders.
Raiders.
Dragons, $1.87. Seagulls, $1.95.
Dragons. Morals.
Manly.
Dragons.
Well, I don't really care, but because you said morals, I'll say Dragons.
Yeah. I have no inkling on this game.
No. Cowboys, $2.65. Broncos, $1.48.
Cowboys.
Broncos.
Cowboys.
Nice. Sharks, $1.14. Knights, $5.75. If you say Knights, you're off this podcast, by the way.
I would expect to be off this podcast. Sharks.
Sharkies.
Sharks.
Dolphins, $1.53. Titans, $2.55.
Dolphins, but I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, the old sack the coach, the team comes out and fires.
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Titans.
Yeah, there you go, Paul. Nice.
Oh, this is another. There'll be 1,000 points in this game.
I just want to see this. I want to see the Dolphins fighting it out for the top 8 in the last round. So this might be a bit more heart than head.
I'll take Dolphins. All right, let's go to this week's in-depth games. We'll start with this was much more appealing when I put this list together. Bulldogs, $1.07. Panthers, $8.50. Panthers, 21.5-point outsiders, resting 16 players. The total 44.5. Teddy, is like the stats are all gone now, right? Because of this team change. But is that 21.5 an overreaction? It seems like a lot.
I have no idea. I've never heard of David Fale, Zach Lipowich, Billy Phillips. I don't know who any of these people are.
Yeah, we can skip this if you want.
It's a disgrace that this could happen. Like, this should not be allowed to happen. You want to rest players, rest them over a couple of weeks, that's fine. This should not be allowed to happen. It's an embarrassment to the game, and stats are out the window. Like, Dogs win this by as much as they want to win it by. Whether they cover the 20, I don't know.
21's a lot.
If you're having a bet in this game, I'd probably be in the under. A lot of rain around Sydney again this week. The under is in 12 of the last 15, if that matters at all, who knows. It's 8-3 when the Dogs are favoured by 8+ points, which is something, and 16-9 when they're off a loss. So I'll be on the under, but I'll be working around Penrith 0 points, Penrith 0 to 6 points, stuff like that. Because the Dogs will be looking to focus on the defence, and I don't think they're going to care if they win by 30-0 or 50-0, but they're going to want to keep them scores.
I reckon the Panthers score more than the Knights this week, just FYI.
I don't disagree with that either. I think two might get you there.
Yeah. Blake, any thoughts on this game?
Nah, for me, 21.5's a big start. So I'll be playing in and around that.
Yeah, ditto. Give me the plus.
Yeah.
And if it drifts, I'll take the plus again. I think it's an overreaction by bookies here.
Especially with rain, like you say. It's a big number. Next one, Warriors $1.57, the Eels $2.40. Warriors are 4.5-point favourites. The total is 43.5. Both teams unchanged from their wins last week. Teddy.
Yeah, no strong view on the side in this one. Power have won 5 of the last 6. They won 30-20 the last minute. Mount Smart, round 22 last year. Wars covered 5 of the last 7. Concerns here, Warriors 7-15 against the spread as a favourite. They've covered 9 of their last 29 as a favourite with 4 or more. Covered 7 of 21, scoring 30. So not jumping into them, but the Eels covered just 7 of 24 interstate, 4 of 12 interstate, getting a start with 4 more points. Was very keen the over in this one, but I know there's a lot of rain around Auckland, so I'm kind of holding off at the moment. But the over is 7-6 since 2008 between these teams. Hit the last 6. It is 26-19 when the Wires are off a win, 29-21 when they play at night, which is very interesting. 18-6 when the Eels are interstate, 19-3 when the interstate Dogs are 4 or more, 7-11 against top 4 teams. So would be looking towards the over in this one, but not betting early. Big watch the weather.
Friday, few showers, strong westerlies.
That's an improvement on what it was.
Yeah. Eels have not travelled well this year, 3-8 away from home. Which
I can't. In saying that, look, I think it's a job for the Warriors where if you can shut down 1 or 2 players, you go a long way to winning this game. And the people I'm talking about is it's mainly Mitchell Moses.
So there's only one, isn't there?
Well, you're going to have, if they allow the play the ball to go fast, you're going to have Dylan Walker, who acts as basically another half. But a lot of the game won't be around Joash Papali. He'll be there just popping up, same as Iongi, but a lot of it will be around Moses' kicking game to Lomax, and then sort of winning that ruck. And the Warriors did it good on the weekend when, they chose times to jump for the ball and contest, and they chose times to let them catch it, and the next 3 or 4 tackles, they kept them inside the 20. So I think the Warriors can really choke the Eels out of this game. And I think they could put a score on, but I'm not there at this stage yet. I'll wait till I get to the ground to have a gut feel. But at this stage, 157, I'll be taking that.
Paul?
For mine, it all comes down to the forward pack and which forward pack gets on top. If the Parramatta Eels pack can get on top of the Wars and the likes of Mitchell Moses, will be able to control the game, and it will be very, very tough for the Wars. But if I look at the 2 forward packs, I think that the Wars have the better pack, and I think they'll control that ruck area, which means that Moses won't be able to show us the best of his skills, and we'll see the likes of Tanner Boyd show us his skills, Teddy.
I thought Rocco coming back last week was huge for the Warriors, particularly defensively. Kick chase, massive. We suffocated the Titans. They were never in that game. And I'm hoping we can do that again this week. I also thought Rocco died at the end of the game last week, and he seems to be okay.
No, the person. We're not talking about I'm talking about underrated at the moment, but the person who's probably been their best over the last month, in my opinion, has been Tanner Smith.
He's been great. He's been fantastic.
Been awesome. And he will. I know Dimitric's named at 10, but Tanner Smith, Tanner should most probably start again. Yeah. But the way he's taken the responsibility on, same as Dimitric and also Eddie Idemia Toiava. Like the minutes they're playing for such young kids and only playing a handful of first grade games gives you a bit of hope. So yeah.
Tell you what, it's exciting for next year and beyond for like Warriors fans to have these green shoots with these young kids now. Like,
yep,
how good!
I'd just love to see Healy in that 14 jersey.
Just play Healy.
I would too. I see Tuapicki's back in the mix this week.
I thought he got it. Did he not get injured in?
That's what we were told.
Reserve grade last week.
Yeah.
Is Andrew West just picking players who are dead again?
Maybe Rocco Berry is dead. Storm $1.65, Roosters $2.25. The line is 3.5. Total 44.5. The Storm are resting a few players. Munster and Pappenhausen still in though, and Sandon Smith in for Sam Walker for the Chooks. What do you got, Teddy?
Yeah, this is a tough game to get a grip on. Yeah, it's just a tough game to get a grip on. Respect Craig Bellamy for resting players and resting them in a sensible way that's not hurting the integrity of the competition. Losing Xavier Coates is big. He's been so huge for them in terms of how they score tries over the last little bit. They've got some depth there. I certainly wouldn't be overly worried about some of the players that will be playing. Were even on an extended bench, like Will Warbrick's in the 20 jersey. Yeah. I expect to Matt Suafalongo's there as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see either of those guys back. So it's still a fairly strong first grade side. Like if that's your first grade side for the year, you're making the 8. So probably lean towards them. I think there's been such a reliance on Sam Walker. We saw how they went without Sam Walker when he went off last week. I've probably got to be with the Warriors. They've got such a great record against them too. They've won the last 7, 12 of the last 13, 11-2 against the spread in those games. The Storm covered 5 of 6 at Amy, 12 of 19 against top 8 teams. Question mark over the Roosters against top 4 teams, covered just 12 of 30. So leaning towards that. Another one where I love the over as well, but a huge weather watch again as well. It hasn't stopped raining in Melbourne, but there's over numbers every which way in this one. This would be one of the better totals of the week if we could be sure of clear weather, but I'm not sure we're going to get clear weather, so another one to watch.
I stopped listening after you said the Warriors were going to win this game.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that the Warriors will beat the Roosters and the Storm.
With the Warriors, yeah.
He's a closet lad. Good on you, Teddy. Loving that.
I've still got New Zealand favourites. The water you fed me over there.
Warriors back-to-back wins in the same weekend.
so right.
This game, I'm sort of you'd be happy with that team. I think Savala likes to add a responsibility personally. When Walker wasn't there at the start of the year, he sort of took it on. And as a person, when you get a senior player come back in like a Walker, and when I mean senior, probably someone who's played there 2 or 3 years longer, you do start to take a back seat, especially your first year. But I think he'll relish in this little role around trying to kick Melbourne into corners. And look, I know Roosters had a lot to play for last week, but even more this week. And they do seem to get up for big teams in certain matches, and I think this may be one. So, look, I like the Roosters with the plus. But, yeah, it's going to be one heck of a match. Definitely for the Storm as well, resting some of those players. Like Harry Grant's a massive loss around that ruck.
Ali Katoa too. He just had some dimension.
This game, Paul?
Yeah, what they said.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on. Cowboys $2.65, Broncos $1.48. The line's 6.5. The total's 50.5. My man Adam Reynolds' name on the extended bench for the Broncos. Broncos have dominated this matchup, Teddy, in recent years.
Broncos have dominated this matchup after it was probably the peak matchup 10 years ago. There was nothing more exciting than the Cowboys-Broncos game. But the Warriors won the last 5. They've won all 5 by double digits. They won the last 2.
You said the Warriors again, man.
I said the Warriors.
Oh, this is getting cut out. I love this.
The Broncos have beaten the Cowboys last 5, all by double digits. It feels like a stitch-up. I'm not really sure I said that, but anyway. We can go to the tape, unfortunately, so that's not going to bode well for me.
You don't want to go to the tape. You lose that one 10 times out of 10.
We won't challenge.
Not even the bunker would miss that one.
They've covered 12 of the last 17. I don't mind the Cowboys here, though. I thought they showed a little something against the Tigers there. I just love this Jackson Purdue in the centres. I think he is just an absolute weapon. They're just going to get him early ball. Look, they go to sleep a lot at times, but they won that game last week with Reece Robson. How long was he off the field for? Long period of time. Like he didn't play well last week, and he's their new hooker. The Cowboys have won 13 of 21 at home with a win. Broncos covered just 1 of 6 off scoring 40 plus, and Michael Maguire 60 and 96 in his last 7 seasons as a first grade coach. So, one bet in this one, though, that is absolutely, you just have to bet on is the over. This is going to be dry weather in Townsville. The last 8 all hit 42. The over is 13-4 in the last 17. The over is 14-7 when the Cowboys are at home off a win. 21-14 when they're off scoring 30 plus. 25-16 when the Broncos are favoured by more than a converted try. So, best total of the week, the over 49.5. I imagine it may have even gone north since then, but very keen on the over in this one.
This is one of those games that jumped out for me like the last couple of weeks where you sort of look at the odds sheet and you're like, well, Cowboys value here. Happy to have a go. Blake?
Yeah, I think there'll be, like Teddy said, just echo what Teddy said, a lot of points scored. I think it's silly if they rush Reynolds back in, to be honest. Like, I know, yep, you want to try and fight for fourth, but I just don't do it. Like, if he needs to come back next week, come back. He's smart enough, he's old enough and been through enough games to get around a footy field with 1 week on going into finals. So, but I expect, like Teddy said, a lot of points, and I think the Broncos win it.
If there is one coach who's going to flog the absolute hell out of it, is the Mick Dittman, the Greg Hall of coaches, Michael Maguire. He will be making Adam Reynolds come back if he's in any shape to play. So, and we're seeing how Payne Haas has been treated this year. So, if Reynolds is ready, I don't think Reynolds should be playing for the finals, but if he's ready, he'll pick him, I bet.
Anything to add?
No, but I do agree with Teddy. I think we'd probably be talking a lot more about Jackson Purdue if they didn't have that mid-season experiment where we're putting him into the halves, which sort of stunted him slightly. But now that he's back out in the centres, just slightly further away from all of the action, boy, he finds a gap. He's very, very good at that.
Yep. He scored a try in 12 of his last 14 games playing centre. Like he would be in the mix for top try scorer if he was left in the centres.
All right, let's get to some betting and wrap this thing up. Teddy, do you want to give us your bets for the week?
Best bet, Dragons, $1.90. Try scorer, Ethan Strange, $2.55 in what will be an absolute rout. Same game multi, Kale Iro, Nico Hines, both score a try, $5.63. In the Sharks game, they'll win that by thousands. And the other bet, we're going to go on overs double. Over 47.5 Dragons Manly, over 50.5 North Queensland Brisbane. I've got just a little stat for you on the Dragons Manly. It mightn't necessarily seem like an overs game, but when a team is off a win and they concede a 30 plus in that game, the over hits at 69.2% the following week. That has gone on since 2008, so that's 17 years of data. So if you win a shootout, overs the next week.
Good to know. Blake, what do you got?
Best bet, Roosters plus 4.5. So a little alternate handicap there, $1.75. Try scorer, Daniel Tupou at $2.15. Can't go past that. Same game multi. I've got Jaden Campbell, the Hammer, and Isako to score at $9.50. And my anything else, I've got the Panthers plus 21.5 and the Knights plus 17.5 at $3.61.
What about the front foot defensive work from Blake Aisha trying to protect that lead? $1.75 shot is his best bet. Just get the pad out there for defensive.
It's almost like he's resting his whole team this week.
Paul, what have you got?
Best bet. I'm going the opposite to Blake. I am opening the shoulders and I am I'm hitting for the stands.
He's the guy that's 31 off the last over.
Best bet, over 50.5 in the Cowboys-Broncos game. Purdue to score a try and the Cowboys plus 5.5. That comes out at $6.38. That's my best bet. Try scorer, KL Edel.
Paddock at the disco right now.
KL Edel to score 2 tries in his return at $4.20. My same game multi, over 54.5. The Philip Sammy to score a try, the Hammer to score a try, and the Titans plus 5.5. That comes out at $8.84. And my anything bet, try scorer bingo on the Sunday games, 1 to 7,
there he is.
$4.
Wowee, that is the most panic set of bets I've ever heard in my entire life. There's a guy who's trailing, who's just trying to catch up.
Oh. Could be minus 1,000 by the end of the week.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut that one out. Yeah, we'll replay that.
I'll try and bring some sensibility. Is that a word?
Sense
I'll try
and
and
sensibility.
Sense back into this podcast. My best bet this week, the Panthers plus 21.5. I think that's too high. Like Teddy said, weather.
Your best bet involves how many players have you never heard of before in that game? I'm not saying it's wrong, but that's a lot of faith. That's a lot of faith to be shown in David Hale and John Fanua.
Sipowicz.
Are you in a regular?
Sipowicz, Andy Sipowicz.
Are you in a video game? No, Teddy. These guys are.
Are they? Did they make it?
I don't know.
They might be getting called in to get their images.
I saw how they displayed some of the NRLW players. I'd hate to imagine what they've done with David Fale.
My best bet, Panthers plus 21.5. Try scorer, Adam Finnell-Blake, $2.95. The Knights have let 18 tries into props this season.
Ooh, that's a lovely stat.
Yep. Same game multi, sticking with that game. Worked well for us last week. Knights under 15.5. Katoa, Molitalo, and KL Iro, $8.49. And then anything else, a little double in the Warriors game. Got Roger first, second, or third, and the Fox first, second, or third. $13.10. Both
Interesting.
Both teams leak down the left edge, and both
Who
teams.
would be marking the Fox? DWZ.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and both teams scoring down the left. So both teams leak down the right, score down the left.
I guess that's the other two on the other side.
So it tells me that there's a couple of players, a player on each side that should be dropped if that's the case.
Following the stats. Just following the stats.
Any Surly bits?
What do you think?
Nothing from Surly so far.
No. All right, that'll do us. We're way over time. I'm going to get in trouble for this one from the producers. So thank you, fellas. Thank you to everyone listening, and we'll be back next week to do it all again on the Advantage Line.